Hey y'all, Chantel Red, the grown-ass teenager here. And today, I'm just going to show y'all a couple of uses of forces. Just to show you guys how quick shit happens in there. How quickly you can be assaulted. Every day, multiple times a day, officers are assaulted. So, let's go to the first one.
Surveillance video from inside the Racine County Jail shows 17-year-old Deontay Anderson being booked into the holding area for an armed robbery charge. Then he punches a corrections officer.
For unknown reasons, and as a surprise to my staff, he turned and it became very violent very quickly.
The officer was sucker punched to the face and knocked to the ground. You can see his partner quickly gets Anderson under control as other deputies rush to help.
My officers very quickly reacted and brought him down and arrested him. And looking back at this truly underscores just how dangerous of a job these correctional officers have each and every day.
Schmeling says the inmate became so violent and uncontrollable he had to go into this restraint chair until he calmed down. But that didn't last long. Anderson continued to cause outbursts throughout the night, so deputies are keeping him in a padded cell. He even yelled at us while we reported this story. Schmeling says the officer was taken to the hospital to get checked out. He was back on the job today. In Racine County, Christina Palladino, WISN 12 News.
That one with the blonde hair and the glasses that was behind the glass, what was he doing? The one who got punched, he shouldn't have been that close to him. However, that dude did look like he was just being regular, and then he turned real quick and caught him. They rock you to sleep. That's called a rock to sleep. That's what happened. He knew he was the one to catch. That his partner was on him. His partner jumped on him immediately, got him down. The other one behind the glass, sir, what? I don't like when they have COs that don't get to it. Like, yo, come on. When shit happens, you gotta snap right to it. This man could have been getting hurt, and you over there, get the radio, don't get the radio. Should I go? Should I not go? You ain't have no inmates. There was no other inmate for you that you were securing or none of that shit. You should have ran straight over there. And then when he did run over there, he was all, should I help him? What I do? Oh, somebody else is coming. Let them get it. Fire him, because that was some real cowardice punk stuff right there. I hate that. I hate seeing it. I know they had jokes on him after this video came out, because I would definitely be having jokes for him.
They were running their usual recreation in the morning, and inmate Baltus came out and stabbed an officer in the neck with a sharpened toothbrush.
The Connecticut Department of Corrections says just before 8:30 Tuesday morning, an inmate attacked two correctional officers using a makeshift weapon from a toothbrush. Officials say one officer was stabbed in the neck and the other in the torso. Both were rushed to a local hospital where they were treated for their injuries and released. 35-year-old Joe Baltus from Meriden is serving a 96-year sentence for a 2006 stabbing death of a family member of his then-girlfriend. He was 18 at the time of the murder. Since then, Baltus has a number of pending charges while in custody, including 10 counts of assault on a public safety officer and 3 counts of having a weapon while in a correctional facility. The union president, representing correctional officers from around Connecticut, is demanding state lawmakers to act.
A lot of these special management inmates are treated the same way as the general population inmates.
The union says recent legislation and the PROTECT Act, which was passed last year, makes it more difficult for officers to protect themselves and other inmates. The law restricts the use of solitary confinement and other punishments.
A lot of the tools that we were able to utilize to control the inmate population have been taken away. And when I say tools, these are, tickets that we can write, some sanctions that we can write. Now the inmate population understand that there's no real consequences to their actions, and staff are just fed up.
Since the PROTECT Act was passed into law, assaults on correctional staff has nearly doubled according to data collected by the state. Baltus even urging state lawmakers to pass a similar bill in a 2021 letter saying he has experienced abuses by the Department of Correction, writing in part, quote, "I and every Connecticut prisoner call upon the legislature and demand they act to end this cycle of abuse and torture and pain." And now the union is calling for accountability and for lawmakers to make prisons safer for both inmates and staff.
While they probably had good intentions with the bills they've passed, they've actually endangered the same inmate population that they claim to be concerned for.
Both correctional officers are expected to make a full recovery. Baltus also moved to a maximum security facility in Suffield.
That definitely took a turn to the left, because this is not what I was expecting, to talk about the fact that this is going on all over the place. The banning of the punitive segregation, the box, the jail within the jail. I don't know why I thought it was only in New York. They are trying to cause chaos and confusion. Why else would they be doing this? Like they said, and it's the God's honest truth, you're endangering everyone. Everyone, because you're creating a lawless, hostile environment. It doesn't make sense, because when you're in the real world, when I say the real world, I mean the street. When you're in the real world, if you commit a crime, you go to jail. Now, when you're in jail, if you commit a crime, nothing happens. That's why you see they say the crime rate, the assault on staff rate has skyrocketed, just like in New York. This is Connecticut. Just like everywhere. Since I've been doing this content, I see it's everywhere that this stuff is happening. They are trying to create chaos and confusion so that they have a reason to implement martial law. It's all about to go down, folks, because I don't see any other reason for this. Everyone's in danger. The other inmates, the uniform staff, and the civilian staff. Because they do attack civilians, they attack psychs and nurses and doctors and teachers. All these people work in this facility. It's not just inmates and COs. Wait for it. I promise you, they want all the jails to be having chaos and confusion. They're going to let a lot of inmates out of the jails, and then they're going to be on the streets causing chaos and confusion on the streets and in a jail at the same time. Martial law will be implemented.
Caught on camera, a troubling scene inside the Washington County Jail. An inmate going after the lone deputy.
The fight only lasted 30 seconds.
But Deputy Daniel Guzman will tell you it was the longest 30 seconds of his life, having to fight off Hayden Davis, in jail at the time for breaking into a Beaverton home.
There had been no history between us, good or bad, no disciplinary action at any point. That was actually the first encounter I've ever had with him.
Guzman tells KGW he had just started an overtime shift. The inmates were enjoying some free time. Guzman noticed Davis circling the desk in the middle of the pod.
Every time he'd pass in front of my desk, he would just stare at me. I greeted him once and he never said anything back, but he just kept walking.
Moments later, Guzman says, Davis lunged at him. The deputy says his training kicked in and he shoved Davis to create some space.
He charged at me as soon as I got clear from the desk, so that's when I first threw the punch and he ended up on the ground.
Guzman says he could have jumped on Davis and cuffed him, but the idea of being on the ground was terrifying. There were more than 50 inmates in the room.
At that time, I didn't know who was there to help. I didn't know who was there to not help. He started charging at me again for the third time, and that's when we just started fighting.
Fortunately, another inmate did intervene. He grabbed Davis and threw him to the ground. That allowed Guzman to get control of the situation.
I'm good. No issues.
Guzman escaped with only some minor injuries to his eye and knuckles, and of course a story he'll be telling for years to come.
A lot of people asked me if I was in fear at that point, and honestly it happened so quick there was no time to actually even react to fear.
Wow.
All right, believe it or not, Deputy Guzman finished his shift the day of this attack. Hats off to him. As for Hayden Davis, this morning a judge sentenced him to more than 6 years in prison for his role in the fight, as well as the original crime that landed him in jail in the first place.
Most of the times, that's how it goes. You finish your shift, but some officers like to take advantage and go out to the hospital and try to catch a calm case and all of that. But this guy looks like he's a great officer. First of all, the inmate is MO. That's obvious. Just for him to be circling around the desk like a shark, ready to attack, is crazy. And then just the way he was standing there just staring at him, and you see the officer talking to him, in my experience in working on that job and the little bit of training that they give us, they're special, obviously, and you have to deal with them differently. So you could see that he was trying to talk to him calmly and relaxed to not make him go off, because those 730 MOs, it don't take nothing for them to go off. They go off quick, as you can see. And you could tell he MO by the way he went over there. He was all arms flailing, looking crazy. And then the way he was hitting him, everything about that dude said MO. But that officer, though, he handled it very well. I love it when it happens like this. And then he didn't get all crazy, you know. Some people would have caught an excessive force behind this, because they would have got him down on the floor and been pounding him out or doing whatever, because he looks very light. But I understand what he's saying. Being down on the floor on top of him, trying to cuff him, and then all these inmates standing around you. Absolutely not. And you're by yourself. That's why you're supposed to have a partner. It should always be 2 officers. Or somebody should have been nearby. I wonder if they have a PBA there. Because in New York City Department of Corrections, we have what we call a PBA. And you're supposed to always be wearing it. So when something like this happens, you press it and it sets off the alarm in the jails. And then they come to your rescue. But again, that officer handled it well. And good thing he had a group of well-behaved inmates that didn't want to jump him. That's all I got to say about that, guys. Lady, y'all.